Hi everyone, my name is Teresa Ekpenyong. You can call me Fia for short. So today we are going to be talking about Wahala. As you can see, I'm dressed in red for the part. So I just want to talk about problems, and you may ask why the topic. Well, first of all, we live in an imperfect world. As a matter of fact, in as much as we Christians expect that things will always be rosy with us. That's everyone's prayer, honestly. But the truth of the matter is that because we live in an imperfect world with imperfect people, sometimes things happen. Recently, okay, like 2 weeks ago, I did a video. I'm not sure I posted the video yet, but I'm sure by the time you watch this video, that video would have been posted. And I mentioned the fact that as I don't know if I was a teenager then or younger. I don't really remember, Sha, but there was a time, there was this Pentecostal church. I don't want to mention the name. They came up with the fact that they wanted to change the traditional vows we take for better or worse to for better or best. And I didn't really think much about it then, but I just still remember that now that I'm an adult, I'm thinking to myself, for better or best. Well, then, incidentally, recently, a woman of God, I don't want to mention her name, that I really respect, also talked about the same thing. I was like, what's going on? I just finished doing a video about it. So she was like, that people wrote these vows, that can it be rewritten? And then she was like, um, me and my spouse, we stand for better. Let me not say what she didn't say. Well, basically, she was trying to say that instead of a better or worse, positive things that me and my spouse we stand for this. If I can get the recording, I'll edit it to the video. But anyway, initially my initial reaction was my stance before. Like, in fact, I made a comment on the post that I would love to know that no matter what my myself and my spouse face, that he's going to stand by me and I'm going to stand by him no matter the circumstance. That's what I would want to hear, when we are vowing to be with each other, But later on, I thought about it because I really respect this woman. And I'm like, a lot of times people come online, take things, just a portion or a clip. They don't give context to what the person was saying. And I now realize what she was trying to say, because I mean, the words of her mouth are powerful and, stuff like that. So, but I would rephrase it in a way that I wouldn't say or worse, I would just say no matter the circumstance that I will stand with my spouse or my spouse will stand with me. That's how I would rephrase it. I wouldn't do what that church was saying for better or best. See, truth of the matter is that nobody wants wahala. Nobody's looking forward to problems. But because we live in an imperfect world, things happen. The storms of life will come. Even in marriage, let me use marriage for instance. Someone once said that marriage is like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're gonna get. I don't know about that, but I think the saying is just trying to say that you don't know what you're going to come up against. You understand? Couples marry very excitedly. The couples that don't have kids or struggle to have kids, they never expected that they were going to struggle to have kids. Even those who maybe the wife had a child before, they could get married and then they still don't have kids. Couples come against unexpected sicknesses. I'm not talking about, oh, you went and married someone that was SS. Like, I got married to this person, healthy, everything, and then all of a sudden the person is diagnosed with one condition from nowhere, and the spouse now have to live with this person through the problem. Spouses have kids that are what do they call I've forgotten. Kids that are challenged, you understand, maybe autistic or whatever, they did not plan, they did not know. In fact, when you hear of some people's problems, you're like, wow, someone has 4 children, out of the 4 kids, 3 are autistic, and there are levels to this thing. So some kids, theirs is really, bad. So you can never really tell. These are things that you cannot control or determine, because no matter how much you check, research the person, you may not have seen that autism in any of the family trees, you understand, whether the bride or groom, but then this child now has it. Some couples have issues, financially. Maybe you married someone that was very comfortable and everything. You as a woman, women of these days, everyone is looking for an odogu parara. You married an odogu parara, and then unfortunately, the odogu's containers on the high sea, everything just got. He did one investment that he put everything inside, and the investment went south. And all of a sudden, your odogu parara has reduced to odogu what, I don't know. So things happen. Things happen in life. So, and then Jesus even said that in this world you will have tribulation. Jesus said, in this world you will have tribulation. Be of good cheer. You understand? So, well, Jesus was talking to his disciples, talking to Christians, you understand? So, if you're not a Christian, I don't know what you're waiting for, because that promise does not apply to you. If you have problems in this world, you're on your own. So, but what I'm trying to say is that you will have problems in the world. That one is not. It's just a matter of time. Even billionaires have problems. Yes, money can solve a lot of problems, but there are some problems that money cannot solve. There's some problems that money cannot solve. You may ask why. I mean, it's a no-brainer. There are sicknesses and situations that money cannot sort. So now, what are we supposed to do when we are faced with problems? So I was thinking about it, and I'm like, first of all, we can classify problems in different ways. You understand? There are problems that we created for ourselves, and there are problems that we did not create for ourselves. It was just circumstantial. So when you have a problem, first of all, ask yourself, am I the person that created this problem? Because I've noticed that people who create problems a lot of times, let me give you an example. You want to get married to somebody, and everyone tells you that this person that you're getting married to is a no no. But you are carried away by love. Oh, you guys don't believe in this, you guys don't believe in that. You've seen all the danger signs and all that. And then you go into that marriage, and then you start having problems. And then the annoying thing is that you start running helter skelter, making everyone feel like, oh, you don't care about me, you don't care about this and all that. Auntie, uncle, take responsibility. It was your choice. I'm not saying that in extreme circumstances you cannot ask for help. You will ask for help, but don't come all entitled. I see a lot of people do this thing, and it's really very annoying. That one is marriage. Another issue people put themselves into is financial problems. You understand? You have money, you squander the money, and then all of a sudden you're in a financial problem, and then you expect someone else that is managing themselves well, living, you know, within their means, to come and bail you out of your wrong or bad decisions. Or maybe you go and take a loan for something when you know very well that you don't have the capacity or the ability to pay back that loan. And now the loan sharks are after you, or the loan apps are after you, and then you're running helter skelter, and you feel like people don't care. When you went to take the loan, did you call me? No, you not call me. And then you look at some of these people, and you're like, you make bad decisions, and then you expect everybody to now kill themselves because of your bad decision. Please take responsibility for your decision. So let us look at the problem very well. Did I create this problem? How can I get myself out of this problem? How can I avoid? Because in as much as I'm saying that, I know that we are not perfect. Most all of us, we are a work in progress. There are areas we are working on. That may be an area of strength for me. You understand? But there are other areas that I'm also struggling with. So I'm not condemning anybody. I'm just saying that, you know learn to take responsibility for your problems, and then let that be learn something from that, so that it does not repeat. You understand? Okay, so beyond that, we also have the fact that when you come up against a problem, I found out that the problem is not the problem. The problem most times is your perspective to the problem. We've heard so much about that saying, you can either look at the glass half empty or half full, and it's very true. The way you look at the problem is also a problem. Because this same problem that you have, another person may look at it and come out of it, as in the person can even leverage on the problem. Let me give you an instance. I'm sure the person may even be watching. So recently, I went to the market and I had this customer I buy stuff from, and she had been telling me, "Oh, there's a problem in the market." I went to the market and I saw the problem. The government woke up one day and decided that they were going to develop the market, that part of the market. They did not give them any notice. Usually those kinds of things, maybe you give 1 year notice, 6 months notice, just give the people time to like move their stuff. These are people that are paid and their rent is still running. You just wake up one day, we want you to leave the place, we want to develop the place. Who does that? Like, who does that? you know and then they come on Monday and then they see that these people have actually started building something in front of their shops. So fair. These are people's, means of livelihood. They plan, they have to plan. Where are they going to move their stuff to? Where are they going to get shop? They don't know how long this your development is going to take. You understand? Where are they going to move their stuff to? What are they going to do to sustain them? This is their means of livelihood. That is a big problem. Now, the victims of this problem now, because you will tell me, okay, so in this situation, how on earth are they supposed to see the glass as half full? Good question. All right, so somebody else in that situation. Okay, let me start with someone outside that situation. There are different people have different kinds of intelligence. Some people are so good at spotting opportunities when there are problems. You understand? Some people are just gifted. I am really praying that God, because if you ask the average billionaire, the people that really have money, that's how they've trained themselves to always see opportunities where there are problems. You get? So and I'm trying to imagine somebody who is in that situation now, maybe a billionaire, for instance. They'll start thinking, okay, how can I make this work for me? You understand? Is there a place maybe I could quickly go and rent where these people can move to? Is there an area of the market, because it's not everybody in the market, you understand, that was affected? Or the person can sit down and brainstorm and see how the person can make money, which is bad because that's taking advantage. But well, it's not taking advantage, it's a win-win situation if the person comes up with a solution to these people, and then in the process the person gets paid. Or the person can just sit down and say, okay, what can I do in this situation? What was I doing before I moved to this shop? What can I do in spite of the situation? If the person is selling so and so thing, okay, temporarily, can I move my business online? You understand? Or is there somewhere else I could move to? Sit down and brainstorm as to how you can walk around the situation. Now that brings me to my next point. Stephen Covey talked about this thing in The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, where he said that there's the circle of concern and then there's the circle of influence. Now, sometimes when you come up against a problem, you're going to ask yourself, is this problem within my circle of influence or circle of concern? Circle of concern, example, the weather. Me and you, we cannot control the weather. As I was thinking about it, I'm like, sometimes we used to give ourselves wahala a lot. This is rainy season. Why on earth would you go and fix an event in the open field? Honestly speaking, there are some problems that we find ourselves that we are the cause of our problems. This is rainy season, the rain must fall. Personally, because a Christian now will be like, oh, I'm going to believe God, I'm going to fast and pray. Why do you want, don't you have more important prayer points to go and pray about than to say, I'm going to believe God that it's not going to rain? Go and rent a hall, go and get an event in a place where there's shelter. Two, because of these things, I hear that there are people you can go to in the other side where they can actually hold the rain. So you not go and spend money and go and meet Babalawo to hold back the rain. And then of course there are apps where you can actually predict whether rain will fall or not. But I wouldn't even go that route. I simply would just do my event in a hall. If I cannot afford the hall, I will rest. Because why would I give myself that kind of headache? These are things that we can control. So you have a problem. Is this problem within my circle of influence? Circle of influence are things that you can control, which I have given you an example. Because you cannot control the weather. So if you are yet to plan the event, please, this is rainy season. Do it in a hall, do it in a place where you're not putting yourself in a circle of concern, because you really cannot control the weather. You cannot control natural disasters, you cannot control government policies, you understand? So if you come up against a problem, first of all, you ask yourself, is it within my circle of concern or influence? If it's within my circle of influence, you know that you can do something about it, you understand? But if you're a circle of concern, I really cannot do anything about it. So you have to find a way to work around the problem, because you cannot change government policies. Just like that example I gave you of in the market. No matter how much you cry, lament, in fact, I even hear the cases in court. But me and you know very well what will happen. You're fighting the government. Hello. So instead of stressing yourself, just sit down and say, what is my circle? What is within my circle of influence in this situation? And then whatever you can do, you do. So that you don't give yourself hypertension over something that you cannot control. Another way to look at problems is that um someone once said that problems are either a wisdom problem or a power problem. So if you have a particular problem, you could also ask yourself, is this a wisdom problem? I have some challenges right now that I know that is a wisdom problem. That's why I like to read, I like knowledge, I like to go online and listen to things that can solve my problem, because I gave this example when I did a video on the lessons I learned in 2024. And one of the things I mentioned was the fact that knowledge is very, very powerful. I had a health condition which I was not properly informed about, and I felt that I was doomed with this problem for life. And I was like, how can somebody for the rest of your life you're going to be doing like this? Only for me to get the diagnosis of the problem, and I went to do my research, and I found out that there were ways to solve this problem non-surgically, just easy things I could have done at home. Now I would have continued with that problem maybe till now, with the pain of that problem, because I lacked knowledge. So there are some wisdom, some problems that you have that could it be a lack of wisdom or knowledge, and then by the time you go to seek for knowledge or wisdom, that problem is solved. There's some problems that are power problems. When I'm thinking of power problems, I'm like, okay, let's just use village people. I don't like to use village people because I've discovered recently that a lot of times a high percentage of what we call village people problems are actually mind problems. Like your subconscious mind is your village people. We'll talk about that another day, but a lot of times when we say village people, sometimes it's not village people. It's just your mind, your belief system, the strongholds in your mind, working against you. But yeah, there are problems, there are spiritual problems where you need to go to God for help, you get. And then when you have a problem too, I found out that sometimes problems, you really have to look at the problem 360. I talked about perspectives in another video of mine. There was a video I saw. Honestly, I really need to be saving this video so that I can be editing it into the video. So I think it was an animation. The video showed from this angle what was going on, and I can't remember the details, but it looked like maybe somebody was trying to hurt somebody. And then the video now showed the perspective of what was happening from the other side. And then the person on the other side saw a completely different picture. And then there was a third angle. This third angle actually saw what was going round from all perspectives. And the person had the true picture. This person did not have it. The other person did not have it. But the person who saw everything knew exactly what was going on. And in life, the person who has the full picture is God. God has the full perspective. And you're hurt now, maybe you lost somebody, a loved one, or I don't know, something really bad happened to you now, and you're thinking, how am I going to go on? How am I going to move on? You're really down and everything and all that. But God has the perspective of 10 years, 20 years down the line. that you're gonna be okay. But you don't feel that way right now. You feel like God, this problem is gonna drown me. This was going to, but He has the perspective. So it would be nice to go to the one who has the full picture of that challenge that you're going through. And I found out that problems are an opportunity. Some of us don't send God though. Some of us don't have, we are good, we don't need God. You know, people who used to chase after God when they japa and all that, they go to a place where the system works, where you don't have to pray for light or whatever and everything. You just need to go to work and all that. And then all of a sudden, their spiritual life goes cold because they feel they don't need God till they go and meet a problem that they know that only God can solve. It's sad. You know, we should worship God in good times and in the bad times. We shouldn't seek God because of problems. But well, thank God that God is not man. When you come with your problem, He will still answer you. So I see problems sometimes as an opportunity for us because some of us who will never come to God. You know, and then some of us that are already, you know, Christians, sometimes the challenges we have makes us brings us to an encounter. You understand? I give you an instance. Some days ago, I was reading about the story of Saul when Saul lost his father's asses, got lost, and the father asked him that he and his servant should go looking for the asses. And they were searching for the asses many days, they didn't see the asses. This was a problem. And the servant was now like, let's go. There's a seer, there's a prophet. Maybe he will tell us where the asses are and all that. Because at that point they were like, the father will stop worrying about the asses and start worrying about them because they've been gone for long. But guess what? They encountered Samuel, and when they encountered Samuel, all of a sudden the asses weren't the problem anymore. But Samuel was meant to anoint Saul as the king. So sometimes problems bring you to purpose, problems bring you to destiny, problems bring you to your mission. But it all depends on how you are seeing this thing. So I want you to think again about that problem. Look at it again with all the things that I have said. Look at that problem again. That problem will not drown you. By the grace of God, it will not drown you. Look at it with a different lens. Look at everything I've said. By the way, I'm working on an ebook. All these things that I share, I'm going to have an ebook. I'm just giving you guys tips. You know, the ebook will have everything step by step, how you can, you know, analyze a problem, circle of influence, what you can do. If it's within the circle of concern, you can't do anything about it. Okay, so how can I work around this problem? I would like us to have a different perspective to problem. Next time you have a problem, just remember these things I have said and begin to look at that problem in a different light. I hope you've learned a thing or two. God bless you and see you in the next video.